Oh shit, are we doing a YouTube video? Listen, I know it's been a minute, guys. Let me just come over there real quick.
I know I say we're deep in the offseason a lot, but we are genuinely deep in the offseason now. We're talking no summer league games, no preseason, no NBA draft, no whatever. The biggest news right now is Markieff Morris, I don't know which one, committing fraud, which I guess is like kind of crazy, but it goes to show there's not much basketball stuff going on. Things are really dead right now. So let's just go ahead and talk about the team that, in my opinion, has no direction whatsoever. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest, that kind of hurts to say, because a couple of years ago, this team was looking bright. They were looking fun. They were going to 7 games against, you know, the reigning champions. They were really doing their thing. And now, like I just mentioned, they have no future at all. This is actually the most dark it has ever looked for Sacramento in a long time, which is kind of crazy to say, not only because it's the Sacramento franchise, they've had so many dark periods, but also if you told a Kings fan like 5 years ago that they were going to have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine on their team, you'd probably be pretty excited. You'd be like, oh shit, we finally have all-stars on our roster. But man, is it an interesting scenario. But before we get into that, before I get into my opinion on this roster, what the Kings should be doing, what they can do, all that kind of stuff, let's go over their offseason recap, all right? Starting with the players that they lost. These are guys that they had maybe just last year or for a ton of years, and they have lost throughout this offseason. Starting with Isaiah Crawford, who went to the Houston Rockets. Jay Crowder is a free agent. Markelle Fultz is a free agent. Mason Jones is a free agent. Jake LaRavia signed with the LA Lakers, which in my opinion was a very underrated pickup. I don't think a lot of people gave the Lakers enough credit for that move. But yes, Jake LaRavia is gone. Trey Lyles is still a free agent. Doug McDermott is a free agent. Actually, did the Kings pick up Doug McDermott? I swear they got him. Yeah, okay. Just what I thought. Doug McDermott did sign another 1-year deal with the Kings. So Doug McDermott is still around in Sacramento. And then Jonas Valanciunas is on his way to the Denver Nuggets. Those are all of the players that the team lost. Now, when we look at the team's additions, you have Dylan Cardwell from the NBA draft. He was signed on a 2-way deal. You have the other 2 rookies in Nick Clifford and Maxime Renaud. Then there's Isaiah Stevens from the Miami Heat, Dario Saric from the Nuggets, Drew Eubanks from the Clippers, and the biggest signing of the Sacramento Kings offseason is Dennis Schroder from the Detroit Pistons. That is, as of July 29, 2025, the Sacramento Kings offseason recap. That is what we're currently looking at right now. Is anybody excited? Is anyone happy? I mean, okay, let's just start off with the good. Let's start off with the good stuff here, the positive, before we get into the negative. The Kings rookies are looking amazing. Even though Nick Clifford didn't win Summer League MVP, he was still all first team. And I'm pretty sure ESPN named him as like their best rookie or their favorite rookie from the class. He played amazing. When it comes to the 2 semifinals and finals games, he was pretty non-existent. But then again, it's Summer League, right? We're going to underreact to the bad performances and overreact to the good ones. He was a very consistent player, just did really everything on the floor, everything you could ask him to do. When he played aggressive and he was, you know, just in his offensive bag, the guy was looking unstoppable. Everything about Nick Clifford was good, and same thing with Maxime Renaud. I'm telling you, this dude is Nikola Jokic 2.0. The Kings went 2 for 2 on their draft. I'm sorry, Dylan Cardwell, I don't know much about you, and you technically weren't drafted by the team. So hey, Scott Perry, round of applause, right? We're starting off doing pretty good on the draft front. That's great. But let's get into the actual team here. I need some coffee before I do. Dennis Schroder was signed on a 3-year, $45 million deal. The Sacramento Kings needed a point guard after trading 2 of the best ones that they had on the franchise, and Dennis Schroder is the guy to step into that position. Now, I know this was a controversial pick. A lot of Kings fans were a little confused at why we were giving Dennis Schroder a decent amount of money, or, you know, why we were trying so hard to go out and get him. I like Dennis Schroder. I think he's going to be a guy that the Kings fans really end up liking, but then again, I can't really blame people for being confused at this addition when the state of the roster is in shambles as a whole. Moving on from the additions and people that the Kings lost, let's just look at the actual Sacramento roster right now. The biggest, I guess, eyesores to me is Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Not only is Zach LaVine's contract pretty big, and DeMar DeRozan is just getting old and doesn't really seem like a fit here anymore. They are 2 big just blobs taking up money on the roster. They are very pointless, but the problem is nobody wants to take in these guys because of their contracts. I am not even kidding with you guys. I could sit here for hours and talk about how much I hate Monty McNair and what the fuck was his assistant's name? Cox? Wes Wilcox or some shit. Wes, I don't know. The previous front office that they had that did this move to trade De'Aaron Fox to get Zach LaVine in return and give up a pick. It was probably the stupidest trade this franchise has ever done, and they have a handful of stupid trades under their belt. So what does this really mean? I apologize. I had to stand up. I'm getting a little bit too animated and just I can't sit down in that chair. What does this mean, right? What is the future of the Sacramento Kings? The future that I say is so non-existent? Well, there's nothing. The future for this team is nothing. As long as they have Zach LaVine on this roster, as long as they have DeMar DeRozan on this roster, I'm going to let Sabonis slide for now. Okay, but as long as those two guys are on the roster, this team will not have the financial ability to make moves and make the changes that they want to make, and they will still be stuck in this weird, like, hey, we're kind of contending, but we also can't compete in the West because they're too good. So my prediction is that this team is going to end up as the 9th or 10th seed. Once again, play-in tournament, you don't get a good draft pick, but you get to kind of swim with the big dogs for a little bit, like just being complete fucking idiots. That is genuinely my prediction for this team. And even when they do eventually get rid of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, you then have to go through the draft process, or you have to go through and find who is your franchise going to be built around. There are some people out there, I cannot believe they are real people, but they say that the Kings need to build around Devin Carter, Keegan Murray, and Keon Ellis. I love Keon Ellis. Love Keon. He's one of my favorite players. Here's a picture of me with him, right? We're best friends. He is not a franchise piece. He is a guy that you have around a franchise piece that can elevate them and make them great. Okay, so Keon, amazing. I love him, but building around him is crazy. Keegan Murray, I love the guy. Here's another picture of me with him, right? That's awesome. But at the same time, I don't think he is of the star potential to be the franchise cornerstone championship piece for a team. Once again, he's a great piece around a championship guy, but I don't think he is the guy. And part of that could be just because of the Kings' development around him. You saw his first season where he was just kind of like a three-point sniper. Then the next season, it was like, hey, we need you to defend the best guy on the other team. So his role has been changed so many times that maybe he does have some sort of potential in him, but he hasn't been able to unleash that because his role has changed so much. And then you have people who say Devin Carter is the franchise piece. Listen, I don't usually do this stuff. I can't really speak on Devin Carter because I did a little too much talking on Twitter and got a DM from the guy asking why I hate him. Listen, I don't know. I've never been a fan of Devin Carter's game. I think drafting a guy with a shoulder injury that has to miss a ton of time when he's already one of the older players in the draft is kind of a crazy pick to me, especially when all the draft picks from 14 through 20 were amazing players, specifically Jared McCain, who is from Sacramento. I thought the pick was dog shit. I don't like him on my team, let alone him being the cornerstone of the franchise. Actually, what are we talking about? Okay, let me sit my ass back down. That being said, right, the team that has no direction, I'm just gonna give it to you guys straight right now. Nobody on this team is untouchable. I know there's been talks, a lot of people would be upset if Keon Ellis got traded. Trust me, I would be upset too. But if we get good draft picks and other guys in return, or maybe we attach Zach LaVine to that trade somehow, you gotta do what you gotta do. Keon Ellis is 25 years old, right? He's a great young player. By the time the Kings actually get to a point where Keon Ellis is a useful player to them, like he is the guy elevating them and hypothetically turning them into a championship contender, he's probably going to be 35 years old. So why even keep him here? Let him go, give us the draft picks, we'll try to build something from there. So yeah, point is, everything with Sacramento, I hate being a doomer fan, but that is just the environment and the case for this team right now, where nothing is looking good. Nothing is good. There is a chance they play a young and fun roster throughout next season, and maybe they do just try to tank throughout the entire year. But knowing ownership and knowing, what they're trying to do, I don't think that's the case. I think that's very unrealistic. They will play the Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan lineup, and they will try to win themselves some games. But before I end this video, I do just want to say, because this report has been floating around for some time, the Kings are planning on trading either or both Devin Carter and Malik Monk before they make the decision to sign Russell Westbrook. I fully understand Scott Perry wants to bring in culture pieces, right? He wants to bring in guys that care and whatever. And hey, if the money isn't too crazy, then Russell Westbrook, welcome to Sacramento. I think it would be really cool personally, but at the same time, Russ being on the Sacramento Kings feels like a move just so Russ can get the ball back in his hands and try to go out and get that triple-double. Moral of the story is, you know, Sacramento fans, if you're watching this, we had one good year. It was amazing. It was fun. Third seed is crazy. Everything after that has been hell. Get ready to lock in for another 17-year playoff drought unless some drastic shit happens. That being said, hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below your opinions on the Sacramento Kings, the players on the team, the moves that they can or have made already. I read and respond to everybody down there. Once again, I don't want to come off as too much of a doomer, but goddamn, it is not looking good. All right, I will see you guys all in the next one. Later.